Hello guys, back down on the plot, on the old plot should I say. Just thought I'd nip down today because I got asked a question the other day from Erica's Little Welsh Garden as to why I gave up my plot. Now the reason I gave up this plot, very big plot, the reason I gave it up basically was due to a fallout with the neighbouring plot. I actually used to own basically this plot, that plot and the end plot, so we had 3 plots all in total together when we were kind of in partnership with each other, like as friends. I'm not going to go into names or anything like that. I believe it was Erica's Little Welsh Garden that asked me the question as to why I gave up my old plot, which was entirely just this one, which is obviously, like I say, from that tree there, that's where the plot starts, where that lip is where it ends. Basically I used to own that one and the one further down, the one that's got the piles on, because that's basically one plot. That's basically plot number 2. That's my original plot that I took on, and then you also have from this side of this tree this plot here. So these are the 3 we used to own together when we first started out. The reason I got onto the site was this plot here. My uncle took over, gave up in the end. He ended up giving it up, so we ended up gaining this plot as well as this plot. This plot was 8 foot high with brambles, and also so was this. So whilst we were in the process of clearing this plot down, I asked the committee, well, who owns this plot? And they basically said no one. I said, well, can I take it on as a challenge, please? So I've just moved into the area as well, so it was just down the road for me. Fortunately, it's not anymore because I've moved prior to having a child, bigger accommodation. Basically, I was in partnership on this plot, that plot, and the third plot with a gentleman who owns that shed, basically owns this plot now. I teared myself to pieces basically doing this plot. Spent weeks and weeks hacking it down and getting it to what it is and doing the work, and yeah, it was a tough job. For 10 years I worked, we had all 3 of these. Well, not for 10 years, we didn't have all 3 plots. For about 8 years we had 2 plots, and then gentleman who had this plot basically gave up, and we ended up gaining this one as well as. But whilst working with this guy, treated me like an absolute piece of rubbish on the bottom of his shoe. And basically, yeah, people were coming up to me saying, why do you allow him to talk to you like this? Why do you allow him to talk to you like that? And to be quite honest with you, I don't know why I did. Whether it's because I'm just a soft touch and I don't want to create like arguments in my life and stuff. I basically just kind of done as he said. I was a bit of a mug myself for putting up with it for 8-9 years, well, for 10 years. Where after I'd wised up to him and realised, you're not really a friend at all. Things went a bit sour. Him and his partner basically invested in a rotavator, initially for these 2 plots here. Obviously, we ended up gaining this one. And then, because we had the rotavator, other plot members, oh, will you come and do mine? He was charging them £40-50 a time. Wasn't actually road like these 3 plots that you can see just in front of me. I've gone very dark. Yeah, these 3 plots in front of me. They basically ended up doing them, but he was basically not doing any of the work, and I was doing all the rotavating, but yet he was keeping half of the money, which to me, I'm sorry, I'm doing all the graft. I should have had a bigger cut of the cash because I was doing the work. I know it's his rotavator, his fuel, whatever, but that doesn't warrant half the money. Things went sour after about, like I say, 10-11 years, once I wised up to how he was treating me and realising, this is actually becoming a job now, because he's just taking on allotment after allotment all the way up to the top to other people's plots, even where you can see that one with the doors, that shed up there. I've done them 2 big plots as well. It's actually backs onto my new one now. Yeah, basically, it just became a job, and I was like, no, mate, this is not what I've come down here to do. I've not come down here to make. We actually said in the first 2 years, if it ever becomes a job, I'm out. I'm done, because that's not what I've come down here for. I've come down here to enjoy it, grow my own stuff, feed my family, my girlfriend, and myself, and feed from it, But it didn't. It started really becoming a job to the point where I'm having to go right round the other side of the site, and yeah, I didn't want that. And then there was one day where he spoke to me like an absolute piece of rubbish on the bottom of my shoe in front of my daughter. I had to think very wisely as to how I was going to react on it, but I gave him a mouthful anyway, put it that way. And things basically went sour from there. I basically said to him, don't talk to me like that in front of my daughter. It's, it's not acceptable. He knew I had kids and stuff. Yeah, it went sour. It went to a committee matter. We had to sit in the shed. We had a bit of a row between me and him and the committee members. And, he made himself look like a bit of a fool, to be honest with you. The gentleman, whether he still owns firearms or not, I don't really know. But whilst he was in the shed with the committee, whether it was in a sarcastic manner or not, the fact that he owns firearms, and I know he owns firearms, because I don't know if you can see the slabs that are standing up just there. That's actually his target practice, where he shoots a statue, basically a statue of meerkats. But the problem I've got is I can't obviously swing around too much, but this fence that you can see on the left is a school playing field. Under no circumstances, whether it's a legal air rifle or an illegal air rifle, you do not point it towards a school playground within school playing hours. You just don't shoot a gun towards it. It's as simple as that. And I kept having a go at him for that, saying you can't keep doing that. And we ended up, because he threatened to shoot me. I wasn't too impressed. I did, and he actually told me through a message, that if I come down the plot, he's going to, basically get me and all this, that and the other, which I seen as, you're going to shoot me. So I covered my backside. I called the police, and they, when I came down to visit the day after, he said what he had said. This site was literally surrounded by armed police. The minute I made the phone call, they were going to come in and SWAT team him, basically, from what I'm aware. But yeah, that all passed, and he wasn't here. He was all mouth and no action. But the fact that I know fundamentally well he owns firearms, I weren't taking that chance. I've got a little girl at home to go home to. Do you know what I mean? It's it was one of them situations. So yeah, we fell out, and we went to the committee shed. We had an argument. I sat in the committee shed, and they were like, well, at the end of the day, you can't do nothing for 6 months. We'll have to take it through the committee. Neither of you can do anything on any of the plots, until it's rectified, and we'll work out who's having what plots and stuff. And, I'm not sitting around for 6 months. It's not in me. I can't sit down for 6 months and not do nothing. I want to be out here digging, growing, doing what I want to do, putting my creativity to use instead of wasting it for 6 months. So I just turned around and said to the committee, look, I'll just take on plot 93, which is this one. Just let him have the bleeding plots, and, it kills me to look at that plot, them 2 plots at the end now. Even to look at this one now after 6 months, to look at them 2 though, especially with how much work me and my family put into them, it's disgusting to look at now. It really does break my heart, because I know how much blood, sweat and tears I went through to get that done. It was a lot of work. But yeah, things fell out. I took on this one. I got 1 growing season out of this one, which obviously last summer, but I was also working for a gentleman, and when I say gentleman, this gentleman is a gentleman, and obviously he had a lot of respect for me as well. I was doing a lot of work for him up on the other plot that you see most of my videos are based on. He basically, I was doing that for him, doing the work for him. What he was going to do was just pay me for all the work I do on it after. But I think he realised with the quality and how I was doing it, and he was like, no, I can't. There's no way I can even afford to pay him for this, And he basically said, look, I haven't got the time now due to my circumstances, which I'm not going to go into on social media, because it's none of it's not really my business. It's nobody else's business. But he's all I can say is his wife's got needs and he works as well, so he hasn't got the time to be doing it. But yeah, basically, so whilst I was doing the work on his plot, the guy who was on, the guy I fell out with over here, basically, I was working. I texted him one day going, oh, you're going down? This was autumn last year. The autumn just gone, sorry, start of that. Oh, you're going down? And he was like, no, I've just got up. And I was, well, okay. And then he texted me something else, and because I didn't reply to him, he started sending me a load of really weird, twisted messages. So I was just like, mate, what are you on about? Sorry, I've not texted you back. It's just I was busy. I'm not. I don't really like mobile phones as it is, to be honest. Like, I do now for the YouTube and the videos and stuff like that. They can be useful. Phones can for that purpose. but I'm not really in for texting and being hassled every 5 minutes with text messages and calls or whatever else. I've strictly got a phone because I've got a daughter at home and I've got my missus at home. You know, anything happens, I want, you know, to be able to communicate with me. Yeah, so he started going on this deluded state of messaging me and everything else, and I was just like, mate, what are you on? Like, what is wrong with you? Like, you're talking crap. Started going on about my rheumatoid arthritis side of things, and yeah, it got pretty nasty about it, and started saying, oh, you know, you've only got rheumatoid arthritis because you used all my symptoms to get yourself diagnosed and all this, that and the other. Which, for anybody who knows rheumatoid arthritis, it's a diagnostic test. It's all done through diagnostic testing. Fair enough, my blood work's come back as, you know, 0 negative as such, but that means nothing. Blood work can come back clear within the condition. Mine was proven through the fact of ultrasounds, and basically they found erosions within my wrists, my hands and everything else. Now if you look at my knuckles on my hand, my knuckles flame out at the sides here on this knuckle. And then after a bike accident, they never went back in, and you know, they've become really stiff and horrible, and yeah, like now the cold really affects them. But basically, yeah, he was just sending me these horrible messages. I was like, mate, just go away, leave me alone now. Do you know what I mean? I've had enough. And then luckily, the gentleman who I was doing the work for basically says, you know, do you want to take on my plot? You know, he's kept his name on it because he does want to keep coming up here and doing bits when he gets the time. But yeah, you know, which I'm not going to argue with, because you know, he's left me a lot, the sun house, the sheds, and you know, the big greenhouse. You know, I'm practically sorted now, really. I'm looking forward to this year, to be honest. But obviously this guy got pretty nasty again through text messaging at the time about, you know, his guns and I'm going to shoot you and all this, that, the other, which I'm not, you know, I need to get away from the guy. You know, I was coming to the point where I was coming down here, my anxieties were getting that bad, I physically couldn't, you know, I was watching over my shoulder every 5 minutes to see if he'd turn up at his shed or anything, and, you know, really watching my back, because the stuff he was putting, clearly, you know, he's got a mental illness, which, you know, whether I'm mates with him or not, I said, you really do need to go and see a psychologist, because something's really not right with you, mate. The stuff you're saying is just deluded. You know, why would you do that? Yeah, because you can see the meerkats in the statue just here. And that's basically where he was shooting. Behind the actual shed over, the big brown shed over there, there's actually a target practice thing as well. Yeah, he got really funny, and then because basically he found out I gave this plot up and I was taking on the other one, I think jealousy really kicked in with him, and yeah, I started getting bombarded with a load more messages from him. You know, the guy walked over for me for years. He was telling me what I can and can't do, and you know, just go away. I said, seriously, just go away now. I said, if you continue on, I'm going to call the police. So I called the police, but because I messaged back and gave them a mouthful myself, because I can't help myself, I can and I can't, but I'm undergoing mental health assessment at the moment myself, so you know, yeah, but that's for a lot of other reasons, which, you know, I will disclose eventually, but just not at the moment. It's very raw. I'm not deluded, don't worry. I must have been deluded to put up with his behaviour for as long as I did. But obviously happy endings now, really, because I've got the new plot. It's looking how I want it, how I had it pictured in my head to a degree. You know, it's not perfect still. But yeah, he just got nasty. There was guns involved, and yeah, I weren't taking the chance, to be honest with you, of staying next to him. So the minute I was offered that other plot by the gentleman, yeah, I whipped it up in a jiffy, because why wouldn't you? You'd be a fool to like miss out on all that and let somebody else take it on. It was more a respect boundary, because for 12 years I'd respected him, we had conversations, we got on well, you know, I'd help him out, or, you know, he only lives over the road, bless him, and, you know, help him out and stuff as and when I can. Same as I do everyone. I'm that type of person. I say yes to you know, it's where I'm a bit daft. I never stepped up to him and said no. I was always, oh yes, because I'm that type of person. I'm you know, if I can help anybody out, it's the same as with Erica's little Welsh guy. Oh, she'd love me to come up and, you know, help her out for a week, get her plot looking nice. You know what, if I drove, I genuinely would. You know, but it's accommodation and all that kind of thing, and yeah, I can imagine Wales to be very cold, especially when I go and visit my mum in Wales. It's freezing. I'm not used to it. It's actually funny, because I moved out more into the city, and it's not until you've lived inner city, you realise when you come out to these outer stakes, like allotment sites and stuff, that it's, yeah, it's, sorry about that, if someone tried making a phone call. But yeah, it's basically not until you live out of stakes that you realise, yeah, it's very cold when you come back out here. Inner city's a lot warmer, I can say that. You feel the chill out here a lot more. But yeah, things went sour with him, but at the end of the day, I've got what I've got now, and I've moved for validly good reasons, because I know he owns firearms. Turns out apparently he's not paid his rent this year, so whether he's going to be keeping the plot, if that is the case, I will be slightly annoyed, because I've spent a lot in grass seed to grass all this myself, and all up that top end as well. Someone's been and nicked all my panels out my greenhouse and smashed a load, which I'm not too impressed about. I wasn't keeping the greenhouse, but it was being given to someone else. Unless they've tried to take panels out and realised, no, it's just shot it now. I don't know, but if that is the case, I'm taking all my Perspex panels out the top so I can use them as spares on my plot at the moment. But I'm not going to babble on too much more, guys, because yeah, I do babble on quite a bit. But I just wanted to give you a little insight as to why I gave up, because I know for a lot, like some of you may have seen my Instagram photos of this plot when it was in full bloom. Yeah, it was spectacular, to be honest with you. I loved it, and it really turned a lot of heads on open day and stuff as well. Shame it looks the way it looks now, you know, but that's 6 months of neglect for you. So yeah, no, not neglect, I've gave it up, so I don't need to continue working on it. I've got new focuses now, you know, and I'm away from the piece of work that, you know, was an old friend. Never ever will I go back there, never ever will again will I talk to him. To be honest with you, I used to be a very confident person, very bubbly, lively, you know. I'm slowly building that back up, and that's thanks to a lot of you guys with your nice comments and things like that. You know, I do suffer with anxiety and depression, but there's other reasons why I'm undergoing things myself, through hospital appointments and stuff. I'm trying to get to the bottom of things, you know, but at least I'm doing something about it. That's the difference. He's clearly not. But yeah, you know, I'm happy where I am now, and just wanted to give you guys a little insight as to, you know, what I was going to do at the time that it was all kicking off. I couldn't really do any videos about it because of the sheer fact that it's a police matter. I know that's, I don't know whether they took his guns off him or not, but I'd imagine by now it's over a police, it's beyond a police matter, it's done. Whether they took his guns off him or not because of his mental state, I'm not too sure. I would have thought if they had done, I'd have had an abusive text message, because obviously they cost him a couple of $100 each. He had 2 of them, 2 firearms. One was just a standard cock the front and shoot the little metal lead pellet, you know, but he played with the springs. And then obviously his other one had all scopes, and yeah, it turned into an air rifle as such, quite a big thing. But hopefully he's gone now, and I can start to build my confidence. But it's just the way he used to speak to me on the plot, and the way if I tried to put a raised bed in somewhere, he'd be like, I don't want this there, blah blah, with a lot more foul language. Used to speak to me like a piece of rubbish, to be honest. The lady that even lives in the house over here, she used to comment and say, why do you allow him to speak to you the way that you do? But I'm that type of person. Like, you know, I allowed him to walk over me, but, you know, after 10 years I wised up and went, you know what, I'm sick of you talking to me the way you treat me, or, you know, the way you talk to me, the way you treat me, the way you tell me I can and can't do what I want on my plot. And this is now why I'm creating what I'm creating up on my new plot, is because I can. And I haven't got him telling me what I can and can't do. And when he has come up and he's seen that plot and what I'd done to it, he was extremely jealous. So let's say, well, I think we'll leave it on the note that I think jealousy has kicked in with him, and I think that's why he's not paid his rent and why he's disappeared. And, you know, because at the end of the day, he's embarrassed, and because he knows full well I'd have told other people. I have told the committee the abusive messages, because he actually threatened to make me so embarrassed to even come down here, because he was going to go around and tell people I haven't really got rheumatoid arthritis, and it's all because I used his symptoms, and he was going to make my life hell down here. But that ain't going to work with me, because the committee know me better, and a lot of people down here know me a lot better than him, basically. So yeah, but that's basically the backstory of where my allotment life began. So if I do ask you guys questions about growing, the reason I'm asking you that is just on the sheer basis for 10 years I was the groundsman, I wasn't the planting person, I never really grew the stuff myself. He done that side of it. It did work quite well. It's a shame it turned out the way it's turned out, but, you know, I'm not there to be walked over, I'm not there to be spoke to like a piece of crap. And yeah, I stood up to him, and, you know, things went sour, but firearms were involved, and yeah, it is what it is, guys. But yeah, we'll just go from, you know, now it's just onwards and upwards with the new plot, new beginnings, and yeah, just trying to build up my confidence again, because for obviously the 10 years that he walked all over me, it kind of, you know, made my anxieties worse, shattered my confidence. I've got no confidence. I just felt like that most things I did were crap, basically. You know, because that's the way he made me feel in the end. And yeah, like I say, I wised up to it and walked away. Took this one on for a year, and then obviously got given that one up the top that I'm doing now, obviously on previous videos. And yeah, I'm happy now and slowly building my confidence up. Like I say, it's thanks to you guys for building my confidence up with your comments and nice words of wisdom and whatever. You know, it really is appreciated. And I hope to get a little bit more chirping, a little bit more, you know, back to my old self, like, you know, that I was when I was, you know, 17, 18, whatever, you know, cheeky, having a laugh, you know. I've lost all that at the minute because of the way I've been treated for the last 10 years. So my mental state's not brilliant myself. But I will always try and give you guys decent content. But I just wanted to give you a bit of a background as to, yeah, where I was and what happened and why I'm where I am and what I'm doing now, because I never had the freedom to do what I wanted. And to me, an allotment was all about coming down here, having fun, and, you know, growing stuff. You know, whether it's massive amount of stuff or small amounts of stuff, so be it. You know, it's just, to me, I think it was from my anxieties more, because when I was down here I could switch off, and I'm slowly getting that back now. But you know, when I was with him, you know, my anxiety started picking up again, because I was on edge all the time doing stuff. It's hard to explain. I don't really open up to many people, but you know, while I was doing stuff, I was on edge, because I was waiting for him to come up and go, I don't want that put in there, blah 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 blah. And like I say, there was a lot more language used with it. He was a nasty, you know, older man. You know, he was 30 years on me, let's put it that way, or 20 years on me, whatever. Regardless, you know, if you consider yourself a friend, you don't treat a friend like that, and you know, you don't order them around, tell them what they can and can't do on their own land, you know. And like I say, he commandeered everything, and he chose to pay the rent every year without even asking me. It's not that I couldn't afford it. Yes, I could afford it. £30 a year for the one plot, you know, a bit more with all the others, but I'd have gone halves with him. But yeah, things went sour, but onwards and upwards, guys. If you do, well, like I say, if you want to check out this plot and how this was, check my Instagram out at Sam's Allotment. I think it's Sam's_allotment. And yeah, check it out, guys, and you'll see what this plot used to look like. And it is, you know, kind of a shame to see it looked the way it was. That's my double composter, by the way, as well, that I built a couple of years ago. When we both had the plots together, I built that. Obviously, that's another reason I took this plot on, because I built that myself, you know. Brilliant bit of kit, brilliant compost I've achieved from it. So, yeah, all I can say is goodbye to bad trash, and yeah, hello new future up on the new plot. So, yeah, bit of an insight for you guys. Sorry it's a little long-winded, but like I said to Erica's Little Welsh Garden, it's not something I could sit and type, because it'd take me forever in a day. It's just easier to do it in one little long video. I won't be doing long videos up like this again, because this is going to take me ages to upload. But yeah, if you kind of enjoyed getting a bit of background as to, you know, why I am the way I am, and probably, you know, stumbling across my words, it's because, yeah, I am pretty not broken as such. I'm slightly broken, but yeah, just the way I've been treated and stuff. I'm slowly building my confidence back up, and it's, you know, thanks to a lot of you guys for your nice comments and stuff, that's picking my morale back up and making me want to do more, you know. And I'll always try to give you that. But yeah, I'm gonna leave it there, guys, and hopefully I will pick you. Sorry. Obviously I'll upload again soon on the new plot, and this will be the last time I'm looking at this plot, to be honest with you. And yeah, give you some more decent uploads regarding the new plot going forward. I just wanted to give you an insight. Please leave the video a thumbs up if you can. I know it's a little long-winded, it's, you know, but that's, you know, where my journey's began. So obviously I appreciate all the support. Now you've got a bit of background into my allotment life, and how it's been. Can't say it's been very nice. It's been a horrible roller coaster, but happy beginnings, you know, for this season, because it's a whole new plot, whole new start. So bring it on. Catch you on the next one, guys. Take care for now. Bye bye.